Peer support is a naturally occurring, mutually beneficial support process where people who share a common experience meet as equals, sharing strengths and hope, allowing people to learn ways of coping from each other. Formalized peer support begins when persons with lived experience who have received specialized training assume unique designated roles to support an individual's expressed wishes. Peer support is not scripted. It does not follow steps. It is about relationships. It comes from the heart through insight and knowledge gained from experience.
Hope, strength and hope.
Hope, the hope aspect.
Empathy is a big one for me.
Empathy.
Lifelong learning and the personal growth.
Dignity and social inclusion.
Self-determination.
Integrity, authenticity, and trust.
Social inclusion.
Dignity, respect, and social inclusion.
Self-determination.
Health and wellness.
Expertise part comes in is that yes, you do have the lived experience and or family experience, but it's how you use that experience. It's that you're at a place in your recovery and wellness that you can actually take that and then take your extra skill sets that you learned, whether that's in learning experiences, trainings, practice time, that you actually develop a whole other set of skill sets and you learn how to relate to other people who have gone through the same issues or struggles that you've gone through.
Having worked in peer support in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the US, and now starting to work in the Pacific jurisdiction, I've seen how important peer support is. Peer support provides a sense of belonging and community, an ability for people to see that they can get better and have a good life, no matter how it looks right now.
Well, when I first started my journey, I was without peer support. And I found that nobody got how I was actually feeling. They were telling me how to, the tools and that, but it was like they didn't understand where I was coming from. And when I started with peer support, it was like, it was wow. It was, they get it. They got it. They understood where I was coming from.
Recognizing the important role peers play in both addiction and mental health treatment and recovery, the Mississauga Halton LHIN has increased peer support capacity and invested to support service coordination and training and development of peer support workers and supervisors. Enhancing peer supports is an essential component of a more coordinated and integrated mental health and addiction system that delivers high-quality care for positive person experiences and outcomes to people in our communities.
Number one in terms of that priority was peer supports. There was consensus and a lot of good energies by the group to say this is where we want to start and this is what we want to develop. Again, understanding that there's been a lot of great work already, it was really not so much a starting point but a continuation of supports for our peers.
In order to move to a recovery-based mental health and addiction care system, it is critical that we allow for and appreciate the meaningful contribution of experiential knowledge to optimizing service direction and the appropriate exercise of choice. We see this initiative as a recovery for our system. It's not about where we should have been, it's about where we're going.
The Enhancing Peer Supports Initiative, which was really about expanding capacity and the number of peer supports in various models across the region in both Mississauga and Halton, as well as the Sustaining Peer Supports. And the Sustaining Peer Supports Initiative was really all about providing that support for the peers and ensuring integration of the peer supports into the model and into the system.
The best thing we can do is to try to change the philosophy a little bit, to focus on the fact that people with lived experience are the ones who know their needs the best, that peer support it should be and is an integral part of all mental health and addiction services, and that our ability to be able to influence that kind of change across the healthcare system for the Mississauga Halton LHIN is based working with other people, moving at a pace that people are willing to adopt those kinds of changes. And we also want to ensure that we're always using the voices of people with lived experiences to inform everything that we do.
Between the two leads, between Christine and ourselves, we're very much plugged into what's happening on the regional and provincial landscapes and all of the initiatives that are going on in the moving pieces, and a way to tap into all of the initiatives and all of the movement, because it is very dynamic and it is very complex.
It's not about implementing a program into the system. It's about fostering a philosophy into the system. So it's about taking the values of peer work, of hope and being person-centered and recovery and integrity and authenticity and lifelong learning and growth, and living and breathing that not only in our one-to-one interactions, but with our interactions with our fellow co-workers, supervisors, EDs and CEOs, that this is the way we communicate with one another to really create a system that genuinely cares for individuals. It's all of our system. We're going to use services if we haven't already.
When I did find out about peer support, that was one of the most important moments of my life, because it was like a breakthrough for me.
It's my life, it's not anybody else's life. And if it wasn't for the peer support that I have gotten, I would still be a follower, where now I feel like I'm leading my life to where I want it to be.
When I got my peer mentor, I was able to relate to him. He's gone through the same stuff that I've gone through, so I was comfortable.
At one time I didn't have any hope, but I had somebody to hold on to hope for me, and a peer support worker definitely held on to that hope.
It's been huge, and it's had a huge impact on me. I've learned a lot and I've come a long way.
One of the things that I found was that I had to feel ready to be able to help others.
Going into a job interview and having your credentials be your lived experience was just like a breath of fresh air. It wasn't a strike against me, which has historically been the case.
Peer support sort of takes that relief, like I've been there, I've been in your shoes, and I'm here to listen, I'm here to understand, and it sort of takes a weight off your shoulders and you don't feel like you're going to be judged or anything like that.
I think the most important thing about being a peer worker is that you're no better, no worse than, you're equal to the person you're walking with.
Provide some support for our coworkers too if they're struggling and maybe they're having a hard time in their personal life. You know, we're also there to just kind of provide them with like an ear.
Support our peers. Right?
Support our peers.
Learning from our own peers, which is very unique too. And I find that really awesome. I find I take away and it helps me in my recovery.
I'm fully involved in the development of planning of the peer support program.
We've had a lot of people from nurses to doctors to administrators come along and now say, wow, it's great that you guys are there now.
Our views on recovery are different, right? From their perspective, one of the nurses or The case manager may be completely different than my views, so the chance for me to share that with them can kind of help them have, maybe a different perspective.
And for me to say, I believe in you, there's hope, I know, I'm living proof. I know that it's made a big difference because they tell me it has.
So for me, it has tremendous value, just being able to be my true, authentic self.
My past is now my greatest asset.
They really go above and beyond because I think they really understand, themselves, that they were once in that position.
Right away, there wasn't any forms of case management, and it was just a form of discussion. Knowing that the peer engagement worker was going to have some forms of lived experience, it really it lifted that youth to say, okay, this is what my struggles are.
The suggestions and the tips that we gather from the peer support network session is really useful. It really helps in giving us a direction and gives the concept of peer support more clarity.
The combination of having the expertise of a peer worker and a clinician working on their behalf has made a huge difference.
I think it's invaluable. I mean, I wish we had more peers because I really see the value. I'm privileged to sit very close to where a couple of our peers work. I hear them interact with individuals on the phone. I hear the compassion, the empathy, just the hope that they provide people that our traditional system hasn't been designed to allow people to do. So I hope that this is just a start of many more opportunities for more peers in our system because I think the opportunities to help support recovery are endless. So sitting in team meetings where psychiatrists or other clinicians talk about the critical role that the peer plays, or can we make sure the peer provides this follow-up, or can we make sure the peer calls the person before they come to their appointment? That's a huge change in how we did service delivery, and it's really having a profound impact.
A shift from they're a helper, well, I've got something that needs to be done and there's a peer support worker that I can go to whatever, fill in the blank, to carving out a genuine role for peer support workers in the organization.
How empowered they feel now on a personal level and a system level. They feel that they're contributing to improving the system now.
So I think everybody's just ecstatic and happy to have a peer support worker, definitely.
We went from the peer kind of being on the outskirts to the peer being one that the physician calls into the meeting with them above all the other disciplines on the team.
When I speak to them, there's always addressing my self-care and addressing self-care with everyone that we work with, and it's just so refreshing, and it's been for me very rewarding and an excellent part of the role, seeing this change in our environment.
Really exciting to see the system transformation that both of these initiatives are enabling and supporting as well. The energy and the care for the residents is just so inspiring to see.
Everyone has access to a peer support, that it's part of your care package.
We need to be able to recognize all of people's needs in the system and no longer silo people.
Where we pull in the pieces of holistic care, where we look at the broader determinants of health, where that becomes a natural way to help people stay healthy or recreate their wellness.
It is a movement, it's taking off. People are taking note that this is an effective resource and that it's a huge help to people out there.
I think it's here to stay.
I do honestly think everyone should be involved in it. It's changed my life.